Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat, and we're in glorious sunshine. We're in the certainly gone through the first month of summer, and just before we get a week of rain, what a surprise! I thought I would take you back on a little journey, a journey through time. And we're not quite going to the twilight zone, but I first started doing some work on this seriously 13 months ago. But to help you understand just what a vast difference there's been now, let's go back and enjoy that journey. It's the 24th of May now, and this small leaf lime or a linden has been sitting recovering since I dug it up 3 years ago. That's 4 years now because it's been in this. I think I did a repot in this pot. So it was 6 foot. Took the top off there. Very straight. It's a bit of an inverse issue here. Some horrible roots. Basically, I need to bring the height of this right down because this long taperless stretch just doesn't work. I haven't paid very much, a couple of quid for this, so I'm happy to experiment a bit, but I think I need to bring this down and perhaps see what happens with this branch, and maybe this third branch. So I'm going to do a trunk chop here. And obviously what I've got to be careful as I near the edge is that if I come shooting through here, I'm going to end up cutting this lower branch, which is the one I want. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to put some paste now. But even it's funny how the eye can be drawn differently depending on how the length of the tree is. And here's a classic example. Lots of faults with it, but already ahead I can start to see a future for it. The proportions suddenly look better. I don't know where the future is with this, but I think it's got more of a future now with that foot removed. Probably want to do a little bit more pruning, and these back bud really well. We've got this one here, this one here. I'm probably going to take that one off. 1, 2, 3. So I'll probably take that one off. And really, I'm just making sure I've got a branch on each side, ideally, and then a third one, just in case I could see this coming right back to here, growing from there, and the actual tree being that sort of height. Okay, so I'll seal that wound up, and perhaps we'll have a look at this tree in 3 or 4 months' time. Who knows? Right. Well, we're, believe it or not, the 25th of August, 23. Just in case this doesn't end up in something for a while. I took off, as I say, 4 foot a while back, and just left it. Again, it's all this stuff that's this field grown. If you don't really think about your selection, you sometimes find something that's just going to cause you great problems. And obviously the problem we've got here is this structure here. We've got a twisty wisty root here, one there, we've got an obvious inverse here where there was a branch, and I can slowly nibble away from that. I think the reason why I liked it is because there was all this. Well, it was originally shari, but it's going all the way up to the top, so that could be worked on. But I think what can clearly be done now is removing this stump here very carefully. Clearly, you don't want to see me do this, so I'll come back to you when it's done. And that's also just in case I embarrass myself and it takes a long time, because I ain't got enough of that. That was easy, actually. I think it's the first time I've used this this blade properly. Just clean up the edges, and that's just so the cambium has got a much better chance of doing a nice rollover and wound recovery. I'm sure you've all seen it, but it's just a case of just making sure that cut is nice, crisp. And what you want to do is get rid of all this horrible stuff here. So the blade should be sharp, and then careful of not getting into other branches and creating more problems. I'll put some cut paste on that. Okay, so I've rolled that over, much nicer now. Now I suppose I'm just going to be thinking about front, if I'm using that as a back branch probably. Although that looks like someone who's crossing their legs, desperately wanting to go to the toilet. What do you think? There, it looks like he's got his arms in front of him. It'd just be to see what happens when I remove these, because I will. So we're going to go for there. And it may be that even that back branch gets removed at some point. We're going to pick either of those two branches to be main. We need to just do a little bit of pruning back, I think. Take that all the way back to there. I think I'm finding lots of trees are fast becoming my favourites. Okay, so this is a branch coming out here. We've got that there. We need to work out, this is going to be the lesser of two trunks, lesser of two weevils.
The lesser of two weevils.
What film's that from? The lesser of two weevils. So take that all the way back to there. Moving up, we don't want this to be too much high, we probably want it to be up. Can you see it? Yeah, probably be about up and away, up there. Are we going to be continuing this up here? Looking through, if that's the back branch, I think we need to probably cut that off and that off. What we'll do is I'll take that decision there for now. Oh, you just didn't see what I did. It was up there. It wasn't very interesting, I promise you. I just took the top off. This branch is actually upward facing, but it has got a bud there that's going to come out horizontally. So we'll wait for now. I love it at this stage because there's so many different directions it can go, including there. The thickness of that, let's get rid of that. That would definitely not be here. That would definitely not be. We'd be cutting that back as well. Still swelling there, so we'll ignore that for now. It is what it is. I wouldn't surprise if I cut this here, if I didn't get another bud somewhere. It's like there, that's a very long space with nothing. I'd imagine there's little points here. I'll probably get buds from these points, so yeah, the places where these will bud from is you'll definitely get a bud from here, but right there's a ridge line and you can probably see a little stubble. There'll be a bud there. So if that one doesn't go, coming back down, probably you can see the little division lines. There's one there, a bud will come from there. So what could happen is I can get a nice advantageous bud going from here, and I can remove that entirely and have a much smaller taper on that. That's pretty well all I'm going to do for now. The only thing I will do, obviously we're heading towards the what are the last 2-3 weeks of summer, so I am looking now at root production through the autumn. I always use a bit of bone meal on there. Just need to clean up a few stubs. Also looking under, no sign of bugs or anything under there, so that's good. So we'll put that one to bed for a little while, shall we? Well, time flies. It's now the 5th of November. I can't even remember when we last touched this. I've been looking at this, and this branch really doesn't do much for me. So I'm going to do reduction by degree. Take it around. You know, we've also got that view there again, which doesn't need this branch. Very, very straight and rigid. Still haven't really established where I want my secondary structure to be. Clearly we've got a main one coming up here. We've got this one here, and it keeps going up, and I've got to decide, well, first of all, I don't want that. So, easy way to deal with that. This will roll over beautifully. Just need to sort out the little edges a bit. Okay, there is a decision to be made. There's always a decision to be made. Is the front going to be in there? If the front's in there, then I'm going to remove this and probably part of this, or all the way down to here. the front's going to be here, and I'm going to remove all of that. Definitely that, but maybe that as well. They're very straight. So, you know, I'm confident that they put on loads of buds so I can rebuild, but I've got to think, where do I want those secondary branches coming from this primary trunk or from this trunk? Decision made. We're going here for the front because it's got some sort of interest. Look, there's some inverse taper around here. There's a whole sort of root system here that I have no idea how it's going to look. So I think what I'm going to do is treat this as I've got to build a very, very basic structure and ignore what's gone on up here. That means I'm going to cut. We ready? Here we go. That. Could probably go back a little bit deeper than that. The dieback isn't terrible on these. And I'll put some cut paste on there. Yep, it's already going to be good, and I know there's going to be buds that'll come from around these collars, definitely, and may even get some buds from here. So that means I just need to do what I intended to do, what I said I was going to do. Let's cut. There. Well, I think we're about there for now. I think this one is crying out for me to leave it alone so it can go to sleep. For now, it's been dramatically reduced. There's buds there as well. We'll see what comes from these. As I say, I expect budding lower down. And in fact, I'm sure with the power of magic, in not very long, we're going to be cutting to sometime next spring. So here we are. It's the 25th of April now. And there it is. It's leafing out a little bit slower than the others. The others, if you'll see in a minute, are actually probably a little bit further on. Yep, we know we've got to sort these root mess out, but we've got healthy buds coming up and healthy buds up here. So the intention, as you'll see in a couple of minutes time, is to just let this grow right back out again, and probably just enough buds, leave it. Make sure it's being fed well. I notice there's not a lot of food in there, so we're going to give it some more yummies, and that'll be just a general purpose bonsai mix, biogold, something like that, load of pellets on there. And that's all we'll do. Right, well, it's the 17th of May and sun's out, tell by the old hat. And here it is now. We've definitely got some leaves coming out. Got some growth up here, but it hasn't sprung out with vibrant life. So I think probably we've got a little bud here. I may well just let it continue to grow. I think there's no place looking around this where we've got any issues with three from one place or anywhere that may cause some adverse swelling. So yeah, I mean, we obviously know we've got the root issue there, but I suppose the only thing I really ought to do is put some more food pellets in it, which will be the biogold. I tell you what I will do. If we move in close, I'll show you. Yeah, looking here, I mean, we've got just here, that's a side branch. I don't want energy going to the side branch, I actually want it going upwards. So we will cut back to here. We've got two leaves here. Again, we've got, you see here, there's side branches here, but we'll get rid of that leaf there. If you look here, it's actually, they're not the strongest looking. So yeah, I think this is just taking a little bit longer to heal. So what I am going to do is side branches, I'm going to remove the growth. I'm just going to remove one of the bigger leaves. I'm quite happy for this to grow out, but let's just open up the light a bit. See, Katerina's having a good laugh, so that's good. We've got here something coming upwards. Not ideal. What I don't want is more growth going up, so we'll cut that back. And again, we'll follow for the rest of it. Looking in here, I want to get rid of the big leaf so I can see what's going on. There's actually little buds there. They haven't activated. Get rid of some of the leaves to open it up. I suppose it's time, if we look at the thickness here, do I need this to be that much thicker? And I think actually, reconsidering, I don't. So I'm actually going to cut that there. I actually wanted to try and develop some new growth, some new shoots, ramification. That's going to be thick enough for what I have in mind. Take that back to there and see if we can encourage this this tree to put a bit more energy out there. So with that in mind, let's have a look elsewhere. I don't see it being any much higher than that, so hopefully what we're going to do is promote 2s from 1. Feed this heavily. Got loads of bioforce in there. There's a little bud in there. And when this is healthier, certainly in another year maybe, we might look at repotting and having some of these roots. And we might also look at having a bit of fun with a shari in there and opening that up a little bit. But that's all. We might just do something with that. He's getting a bit blunt, you know. That wasn't very good, actually. Right, so we need to do some... I actually need to hold that together. I actually split it a little bit. Very, very surprised by that. It actually tore downwards, and again, it happens to us all. But you know, you've got to be careful sometimes. You've got to make sure your tools are sharp. You've also got to make sure you're using the right tool for the job. And I really should have used something else there. And if we look at this one here, much cleaner cut, and also concave or whatever, so I can fill that. Well, that's really as much as I'm going to do. And I think the advantage you've got is that I know I've potentially done something horrible to that that upper branch in another sort of 2 months' time, or in your case a couple of seconds' time. We're going to see whether or not it was faithful to the branch. So, with the aid of Xavier motion, let's whisk on ahead, shall we? Well, if you're still here, thank you. But I suppose the first question that I really need to answer now is, seconds ago you saw I was in a state of despondency almost, for fear of what was going to happen to this branch up here after I'd hacked about it with some blunt scissors. Well, rest assured. In fact, let's show you exactly how it's healed. We're looking here. There's, I put the cut paste on there, and you can see that definitely there was some scarring or some potential dieback, but it all got sealed. So clearly we've had growth. It's on nice and securely, and I'm not going to over tax it, but yeah, that's all sealed up nicely. So, you know, even if you find you make really bad cutting moves or you tear, don't be afraid just to whack a load of gel on there or whatever. Even put some wrapping tape on it to keep it together. These things are very resilient, as this has shown. So I think for all intents and purposes we're going to pretty well call this video quits now, with it basically 13 months further on. I've gone a long way in terms of at least starting off and designing a new direction for this, and all I will do is prune off some ends, have a look at where I want more growth. I'm quite happy to get strength going in there, but I certainly don't want it wasting too much energy, so let's get rid of one of the leaves. I want to keep a reasonable amount of leaves, but I'm just going to reduce where I want the growing to come from. Certainly don't want it coming from junctions. I mean, Clumsy, you've seen this already in the earlier part of this video. So let's just get rid of stuff we don't want. A little bit of partial foliage. So we've got this coming up, splits in two there, and we really don't want it going much more. So if I try and get another flush, I want it to come this way and go out. So I'm going to cut that off. Same with this one here. I quite like this. I like this one here, but I am just going to cut that to there. Looking there, we've got this one here, which really the only use that's going to have is if I was going to remove this. So I'm going to take that right back to there, and what I'm looking there is just maybe we'll get buds coming from here or here outwards, but really that's not a lot of good. This is the main branch. So what we need to do is make sure that the main branch is continuing to grow. So this is the growing tip for the main branch. I'm happy to let that keep going to thicken off. Just going to remove a few leaves that may be getting taken away by shading or whatever. There we go. Now coming off this one, we've got this one, but it's going upwards. Not exactly how I want it. I much prefer it to be coming out horizontally. So what I'm going to do is just take the growing tip out. And again, I'm hoping to get something, there's something here, or one of these places, that'll give me something better. Do you think I'd learn by now? Do you see me? I'm just trying to tear it again. That's alright though. So, you've seen me do it once, in fact you've seen me do it twice. I'm going to finish this off and then we'll see how it looks. Well, I'm hoping that you can see there's actually been progression. We've got some extra branches that have developed as a result of that original 2 cut that I had. All I do need to do is just take the top off. I've done some leaf cutting where I've just removed the edges just to reduce the size by half, and I've done a degree of partial leaf cutting. So we're somewhere there, and I'm going to let this go. I'll feed it up, let it go right through until the autumn and leaf drop, and then I might have a look and see what it's looking like. There won't be a great deal of distance from there, but what I'm hoping is that maybe I'll get another flush, because certainly we got one extra flush through. Let's see if we can get a second flush force through before we get to the autumn time. Certainly got time for that to come out. Hey, got some major work to do on those roots.
That kind of thing gives me nightmares.
That will probably happen in the winter. So, I hope you've enjoyed this 13-month development adventure or evolution with this linden, small leaf lime. I'm pretty excited about it. I do think this is going to make a good tree if I can get that sorted out. But otherwise, if you've liked this, please ask you a big thumbs up. You know I'm going to ask you if you can share it. Please do that as well. But otherwise, just enjoy your bonsai. We're in the middle of summer. It's fun being out here. So make sure you enjoy your trees. All the best. Happy bonsaiing. Cheers.